Hey everyone, first post in Graham's Sports Gab is coming to you from Watford, UK. I am living over here in the UK for a little while with my wife while she is teaching over here. And as you can see, I got the Blue Jays toque on. So normally I will be picking a city and talking about the sports teams that you can find in that city and their current rosters, a little bit of the history on the team. But seeing as today we found out the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame inductions, thought I'd put on the Jays cap and talk about those. So the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame is kind of an interesting Hall of Fame because it has Canadian-born players as well as players who have supported baseball in Canada, usually major league players that played for the Jays or the now what are called Washington Nationals, Montreal Expos from back in the day. So I'm going to be talking about the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame and the inductions this year, all of which are extremely deserving candidates. I had to think of the right word to use to describe these players. They're all very deserving. All have done great things for baseball in Canada and have represented the country very well, or the Blue Jays organization very well, as well as the Montreal Expos organization. So the first induction, Carlos Delgado. Obviously, I'm going to talk about him first. Should be in Cooperstown someday, I feel. Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame is a great place for him to be at. Obviously not Canadian, but I feel he is still and will for a long time be regarded as one of the Blue Jays' best players to ever play on the team. 8 years in Toronto with 30-plus home runs. I don't think a Jay player will ever do that again. That's just extremely impressive to go 8 years with 30-plus home runs. You know, pitchers can maybe do 8 years with 100-plus innings or 200-plus innings like currently Mark Burley is doing, but 30-plus home runs, especially with the pitching caliber that comes nowadays. Not that I don't want to disregard what 30-plus home runs for 8 seasons Delgado did is very impressive, but I think the pitching nowadays, you just get a little bit better pitching command, pitching techniques. They're not rushing pitchers through the minor league systems, so I feel that's why you'll never see 30-plus home runs for 8 years consistently from a Blue Jay player again. Spent 12 years with the Jays organization. That's really impressive. 17-year MLB career. That's just really impressive. 03, I think, is a year we're all going to remember. 42 home runs, 145 RBIs. That's MVP caliber right there. And he was second in voting for MVP that year. So right there, I think nowadays people look at Jose Bautista as the face of the franchise. I think back when Delgado was playing with the Jays, he was the face of the franchise. Bautista might be that kind of guy that could hit 30 home runs every year. Obviously, with injuries and stuff, that he's not going to do that. I don't think he's got another 8 years left in him for a full career to try to do that. So Delgado, great guy. Glad to see he's getting in there. Matt Stairs, second guy in there, Canadian from New Brunswick, 19-year MLB career. Nowadays, you don't see players play that long, just because I think the seasons are just more grinding. The turfs, especially in Toronto, players always complain about the turf and it's hard on their knees and those kind of things. But a 19-year MLB career is very, very impressive. 265 home runs over his career. That's good. Not a big power guy, but you do the math with that. He's hitting at least 15 a year for you, and that's good. Teams don't build a team. You're not going to have 8 guys hitting 30 home runs. But if you have a couple guys do that, and then you got some other guys like Matt Stairs on your team who are just, dedicated, put in the work, hit you 15 home runs, and do the things that you ask of a player, they're going to do good. Okay? He had 38 home runs in 99 when he was with the A's. So, of course, at the beginning stage of his career, he could knock it out of the park really well. And even near the end of his career, you still aren't going to be throwing up a 95-mile-an-hour fastball right down the plate and see what you can do with it, because he's going to knock it out of the park. That's just the kind of player Matt Stairs was, and, a Canadian player. Great right there. Third player, Corey Koski. This one's probably going to get a lot of interesting arguments. He's never going to get into Cooperstown based on his stats. A lot of people are going to say he's only in the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame because he's Canadian from a little town called Enola, Manitoba. If you've never heard of it, you can check it out. So I'll agree with that. Yes, his stats, he only had 124 home runs over the course of his career. He did spend 05 with the Jays, so that's kind of nice. It's always nice to see Canadian players playing for the Jays, especially this upcoming season. You got Russell Martin, Dalton Pompey, and I'm forgetting another one. I apologize for that. But, it's great to see Canadians play on the Jays. It's really, really awesome to see that. Michael Saunders. There we go. Pop back into my mind. So those are the 3 Jays that you'll see probably on the opening roster for the Jays this year. But again, with Corey Koski, third guy I'm talking about, 05 with the Jays. In 01, he had a 26 home run, 103 RBI season with the Minnesota Twins. So that's pretty good. That's a very respectable MLB season, especially now. Again, that was almost 15 years ago now. So again, his career stats, no, he's not going to make it to Cooperstown, but he's deserving to be in the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, I think. Any player from Canada that can make it to the major leagues and have an impact on a team, even if it's only for one season, I feel they deserve to be recognized for what they did. So those are the 3 players. Alou, who was the manager for the Expos from 92 to 01, a great manager. He did win Manager of the Year for the NL in 04. 74-40 record, very, very respectable. Again, that was a strike-shortened season. So, it's important to recognize that it's not just the players that get into the Hall of Fame, it is the managers. There's also writers that get involved. Bob Elliott is the writer that's getting inducted into the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame this year. I read his stuff. He's a very good analyst, very good article writer, so check him out if you ever have the chance. But those are the players that are getting inducted in the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. It's in St. Mary's, Ontario, is where you're going to find the Hall of Fame. Small little building. St. Mary's, you've probably, if you're watching this, never even heard of it unless you live near London, Ontario, or Woodstock, my hometown. Probably never even heard of St. Mary's until you look up an article of Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. That sounds cool. St. Mary's is a small town. It's like 2,000 people, I think. Maybe, and I could even be exaggerating that. But those people getting inducted this year, just wanted to talk about those. And just, put on the Blue Jays toque. Major League Baseball season will be starting shortly. Training camps are opening up. I think the Jays got a good shot this year. I've been saying that for the last few years, but I really think they've got a group of players that can really push them to the postseason. And as long as pitching stays strong, we should be good. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video and a little bit of my insight on the players that are getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. Do check it out sometime if you're ever in the St. Mary's area. And I will talk to you again in the near future. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.